Okay, so I'm just going to show you real quick how you can create a 5-point turnaround based on a character design in 3/4. So first things first, I've got this character, Mabel from Gravity Falls. She's a Flash style character, very simplified, but the first thing that you'll need to do, or that you'll want to do, is do a basic shape breakdown of what's going on in here. So I could take her, and if you have some photocopies, you could draw right over top of her. But we're going to figure out what are these underlying shapes. So we've got this shape of a head in here. And underneath, seeing that we have possibly a circle with the addition of an oval. And these two things are joined. Then we've got another circle here for the ear. We've got, a neck coming down. Another circle that we could kind of draw through. We've got kind of a bean shape happening here, but probably what I'm seeing is that we could emulate that with having a similar oval that we can draw lines that are going to come down to. Then we've got this little square piece of her skirt. We've got a couple of legs. That's easy, with another couple of ovals. I'm going through here, and we can add details later, but we need to do figure out how we're going to make her turn around in 3-dimensionally in space. So once we have all of this, we can add in, we can do the hair in afterwards. But let's start the turn with this. Now there's some other circles that I might add in for the arms. We'll figure this stuff out first and then maybe add some arms in afterwards. So one of the things we like to add in is some crosshairs here. So we have a line for the center of the face and then a line where the eyes are going to go. This is going to help us as we're doing the turnaround to figure out where the center of the face is, as we see it in profile, as we see it in from front on, and possibly from behind. So once we have this figured out, the next thing we need to do is to draw some lines across the page, and you've probably seen this on model sheets before, where we have lines that are going to help us to figure out and make sure that as this character is turned, that these shapes are going to maintain. I'm going to do it in a different color here, actually. Let's do it in let's have a green, so it's going to stand out a little bit. So we're going to draw lines, and sometimes the lines indicate parts of the body, so you could draw lines that could indicate this is the full head, this is where it goes from the neck to the body. You could draw lines to indicate maybe where knee points are or elbows. But when we're starting, the easiest way to make all of these shapes maintain their volume as you go along is to actually use the shapes themselves as the markers for where we're going to draw in these different shapes here. So we've got this one, this one, this one. Let's do one for the bottom of her sweatshirt, and one for the bottom of her skirt, and possibly, well, we don't need, I'll talk about the feet as we go. We definitely need one to know where the heels are going to plant. Okay. Once we have this done, we can start adding in, let me just pick this color here, adding in the next versions. So let's start with maybe a profile. Cancel this. So what we want to do here, so we'll do this, we'll go into profile, is we're going to copy some of these shapes and turn her more so that she's going to be looking off to the right. So we can go in, and I know that the top of this circle and the bottom of the circle are marked here. Let me just move this over actually a little bit. So we're going to put her hair in last. So we're going to go in and sketch out these basic shapes here. I can go and get rid of any extra lines in there. So I've got my circle that I've repeated, and she's probably going to have a little bit, you know, even from the side, what's going to happen is probably she will maintain this kind of same shape where it goes down a little bit, and then we have that oval down here coming along. Now I could put in another line up here to see where the top of that is, or I can just kind of eyeball it. So I'm going across and saying, okay, well, this is where it's going to be in the interior. And I'm going to just repeat that shape. Now, if this stuff is starting to get confusing, we can start, you know, erasing some of this out once it's in there, and we can see exactly where everything is going on. Now, the nose is going to be right here, and I can see it's right at the bottom of where the bottom of my circle is. So the nose, I think we're going to put that in. And now eyes. I'm not sure, I can't really remember, but you guys could check out what it looks like on the show. Normally, circle eyes, or eyes that are done in this kind of way, you know, like Simpson eyes, or I'm trying to think, Family Guy eyes, I guess. Normally from the side, they're still going to stay circles, so we may see this sort of ideal. Now what we're not going to see is that the eyeballs aren't going to get any bigger or smaller. So I can see here that the bottom of her eye is almost touching this line, right? And I could draw another line if I wanted to over the top, but I don't think I will. So we could have this circle here. Now this is a stylized version of an eye, but what you're going to want to see for, you know, a traditional eye is that if we have, you know, an eye from the front is going to be, you know, looking something like this, and maybe we have pupil. From the side, it's going to actually look more like this, right? So that the character is looking that way. So from the side, if we were going to do this correctly, maybe a circle eye might look more like this, with you know, the top part of it kind of cut off, so that what we are seeing from the front is that full bulbous, you know, the whites of the eyes. But I think for this, because it is stylized, I am pretty sure that the eye is just going to stay circular. So let's get rid of this. Now, once I have this stuff in, I'm going to add her ear in as well. I could draw some lines over top of that, but what's going to happen is the ear is going to be off to the side a little bit. Now, I am seeing that stuff starting to get confusing, but what I'm going to do is going to be roughing this out, and then after you can go over top and clean it up if that's part of your project, and ink and paint it. So we've got this going on thus far. Feeling like this isn't rounded out enough, so I can go back and round it out. I think it's going to, a lot of it's going to be covered by hair though anyways. So we've got this, and we've got this other shape of her turtleneck here. So we can do that same thing. Add in this shape. And we've got this other nice oval down here. Now, this seems to be going, you can see a little bit more from the front, but we can do that from the side. Or what we could do is show, we want to get super fancy about it, we could show that she can see her neck from the front, but maybe not from the side. So it might go up more in the back, or maybe down in the front, but we're still kind of maintaining that same oval shape. And then this is going to go down. Actually, I'm going to change all of this so it's all the same color. So we get this going, and then maybe you can add in some other details afterwards. Now, mine is looking a little bit thicker than I'm seeing in the first part, so let's just there we go. Okay, so then we've got the skirt part, which is just a square. And from the side, we're probably only going to see one of her legs, so there. And we'll add in one of her feet as well. So we could add in those details of her shoes. And we're probably only going to see one foot. Yeah, let's go back to the hands and arms here. And this hair. One of the things I'm seeing here is that she's got a headband. So we could probably, well, I think first things first, we'll draw this kind of shape of the hair. I can see here that it's actually following just this outline of the top of her head. And it actually appears to be going down and through her eye over here. So let's do that part. So it's just over top of the circle. And I'm seeing it goes down straight here on the side, which is also probably going to be represented in the back. And we've got these curly cues that are coming out. Now these could also be circles. And as we can see, they're kind of overlapping here. So I could do that same thing here by building it up by having some circles that are going to go around. And I see here that everything's kind of behind, so it's probably going to be something like along these lines. So let's get back to her headband and put that in. Yeah. It's straight to me. Right. Just for let's just do what's there. And the other thing is that I'm thinking that this is good. Make that go more in line with the circle of the head. So let's put this stuff in. And she's got these little tufts at the back. And there we go. We can add in her mouth. She's smiling. She has her tongue sticking out. And circle for her cheeks. Now you can go in and either trace out this on another sheet of paper. There we go. So we had that built up from that. And we can get rid of any of these structural lines or trace it over onto another sheet of paper. So you'd start out with all of the structure. Now let's look at the arms. So these are coming down, and I'm just going to use another color over top here. Let's try So I'm seeing another circle here, and then I'm seeing a square, and then she's got her fingers hanging out. And then I'm seeing another kind of a quasi-triangle. So we can do that same thing here that we did with the lines. I could draw the lines out. Let's do maybe light purple lines, just so I'm not going to get confused. Put this here, that there. And I'm seeing that the bottom is a little bit higher than the bottom of her skirt, so I can just kind of use that as another guide. So where the shoulder is, it's a little bit lower down here. I could indicate this with a little circle, and I like to do that sometimes just to help me out with figuring out where the edges of things are, and then you just have to join them. So if I can draw out these two circles and join them down, then I'm going to have the very good start to her arm. I've got this other square down here that's actually coming up a little bit shorter than her skirt, and then the two fingers that are coming out of there. And there we go, we've got Mabel from in profile. So we can move on to do the other versions. Let's do, so as she turns, well, let's do a front version. And actually probably what I'll do is move these guys down, and I'll do the front. Just move them down the line. I'll do the front on the other side so we can have actually the full turn, so that she's actually turning, or the way the poses are turned the way you would actually physically turn the character. So let's start back with that red again. Okay, so we do the same thing. So from the front, we're going to start with the same thing, doing the basic shape. Here's my circle again. I'm building it up. Then I need the oval of her don't know what this, I guess, to her jaw or mouth. Now, from the side, things are going to get, as we turn them, they're going to get a little bit thinner. So this, as it's turned more to the front, is going to extend out a little bit, slightly wider on either side. So I can go in and get rid of any little lines that aren't really helping me out with that. So I've got this and this. They're going to join, go in a little bit, and then we've got her head shape from the front. So I can do the same thing here, adding in these, now from here, I mean when I did it from the profile, the crosshairs are going to be on the side, so we actually wouldn't see it from the front. But from here, you can add this in. So we've got eyes. The nose is going to be here. We've got a little mouth, a little tongue sticking out. I think your nose is going to be smaller than that. Looks quite a bit smaller here. Let's just fix that. And we're going to have, circly eyes, but from the front, they're joined here. I'm going to think that from the front that they're going to be, there's going to be a little bit of space in between them. Now, sometimes we do have a little trick, something like on The Simpsons, where this round nose is sticking out from the front. Maybe it touches either side of the eye just to make the face kind of join a little bit better. So we can make her cross-eyed. One for the eyebrows over on this one. And actually eyelashes as well. These eyelashes up here. We're going to have eyebrows. I'll just go through and do the rest as well. So you got the neck. We've got this shape of her turtleneck. We've got this other little shape down here of the oval. And we're going to join them up and draw on the square of her skirt. And we've got legs coming down. Now from the front, if we were just going to draw the feet the way they are here, they're kind of both pointed straight on. If I was going to draw them from the front, we probably would only see something like this. Now this can look a little bit awkward, especially if you're going to try to animate that we're only seeing the toes of the character. So oftentimes what they'll have is feet that actually go away, or you're standing kind of, I can't remember what the opposite of pigeon-toed is, but that your toes are out. We can add in her socks. And let's add that in. And we'll get rid of some of these lines that aren't indicating anything. Oh. This on here. This is looking a little bit thick, so we can pare it down. Here, that's looking a lot better. And then we can draw in her arms, so same thing. Oh, actually, this is up a little bit. And there is going to be mistakes, and that's okay. And that's why there's an eraser at the other end of the pencil. Okay, so same thing here. We're going to have circles. Another circle. And these things are going to join. Now, I'm thinking that be more closer to our elbows here. So I'll erase this out. Same for this one. And then we've got her, the edges up there of her sweatshirt. Now, her hair, same deal. We're probably going to see the circles here that they're going to be on the same. Let me just do this with a different color for this behind. So let's say, and this can help doing it with different colors. Let's just do a blue. I can line this up as well. Got another circle here, and I'm probably going to have another circle here. Another circle there. Now sometimes characters can have, you know, different sides to them that aren't going to be necessarily an exact duplicate. But in this case, what I'm seeing here, she looks pretty much like she's going to be even as she turns around. So we want to make sure that the part on her head is going to be the same spot every time. It does go through her eye here, so I'm presuming that goes behind her eye there. We can add on her ears. And we want this part to go there, and this is going to go down here. And then we've got this mask that is a little bit above. Oops. It's just a little bit above the basic circle of the head. And we've got some. Now sometimes we'll see something like this. Which is not really an exact representation. Because really we wouldn't see this anymore. The top of her head is actually hiding it because it's really, you know, further back behind there. But sometimes we'll see it cheat, so we'll see these little things will stand out. Now, same goes for her headband. I'm thinking that it's going to surround her head. It's going to get a little bit thinner, but we definitely need to see it in there. So we'll get the headband in. Okay, so the additional parts that we don't need. So now we've got, now the only thing I'm seeing here is if I go back, actually her eyeballs are a little bit too high. So that's okay. I'm going to go back and change this out. And I'm thinking that this needs to go up a little bit too. So let's just go back and re-jig this. So we've got eyes. Maybe I just made the circles a little bit too big. Now in animation, because we're having these characters move, we need to make sure that everything is going to be the same. Otherwise you get, and you may have seen this before, just things that are popping and looking like they don't actually belong with the animation. There we go, that's a little bit better. Not looking nice. Okay. Now, I've drawn these circles on here, but what actually happens is that we're seeing a little curly cue that goes into the hair. And I think that's just a stylized portion of it. So there we go. So we got 3. Now, when it comes time to doing the backs, a real simple idea for doing the back 3/4, and we can do the back character, is what's going to happen is the silhouette is going to be same from the back. So if we have a front, then we flip this character from the back. It's going to be exactly the same silhouette, and the same holds true for the 3/4. So since we've already done all the work of these 2 characters, I'm just going to go through and over top of them, I'm going to trace off. Well, let me just do this one all red here. Let's just switch it all to that. Just don't want to color my lines. Okay. I'll just do it in another color over top. So let's do something that's going to stand out well. Let's try this purple. So what I would do is, once you have this, you can take a piece of paper, put it over top, and draw out this silhouette. And we just need the silhouette. We can draw in even arms are great. Now, we don't really have to worry too much about the face. or this, just the silhouette of the whole thing. Okay, so once we have this, well, it could be 3/4 this way. That would be great. Or we can actually, you know, you could flip your paper and then draw on the other side, and this could be the back, you know, if she's facing this way. So now that I have this as a silhouette, I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff, and we're going to see what's going to happen. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is, number one, this foot that is the left foot is actually going to be the foot that is over top of the right foot because she's facing the left now. There may be an eyeball. Maybe we see the back of her eye here, maybe even her nose. Definitely going to see her ear, but it'll be the other way now. This might go down like this. We might see her headband now. And really, actually, probably what we're going to see from the back is none of her body, because her hair, you know, is going to probably cover that up. But what I will do is just draw this in so you could kind of see, you know, what would happen is instead, this would probably go up a little bit, maybe not that much. Let's freeze it out. Maybe something more like this. We would see the back of her shirt. We would see the back of this arm. And we would see this arm kind of more like this. This foot would come down, and we'd see this foot would be behind it. And maybe up a little bit more. Let's do this again. So her feet would be going this way. Maybe some socks. So this would be the back, and then it's really important though too, as you're doing these turnarounds, to know what's underneath any hair or dresses or fabric so that you can animate those parts. So there may be movement that's happening, and you need to know that it's you know, done correctly. So if I was going to do, let's say, I would have this. I'm going to presume that there's another circle here, another circle there, and probably, just to make it even, there's probably another circle. This is going to go probably straight the way this is straight and then comes out. So I'm going to say probably this is straight and then comes out. So all of her hair is actually going to, let's do this, go in here. And that is how her hair will look. Let's do this in some red instead. Just erase all of this out. So I'm going to presume something like that, and then probably what we'll see is how this hair is tufted off the back. So instead of it being divided by a line here, we're going to see that it's actually you know, part of the hair from the back. So we'll see this. We might see a little bit of her red cheeks there, maybe. Okay, and then from behind, we can do the same thing. Let's go over top again. Let's do something green. So we can do the same thing over top. I'm just going to trace out this silhouette here, and this time I'm not going to really worry, but you guys know, you understand about drawing underneath now. So I'm tracing all of that off. I'm going to be doing this on paper, but it's going to be the same process. Let's move this. Let's do this over here. Actually, just move it there. So from behind, really, with Mabel, what we're seeing is just her massive amount of hair. Let me switch this to red. There we go. So what we will see, though, is that her ears are going to probably stick out from behind her hair. We're going to see those fun little curly cues happening again, and there's probably going to be, you know, a bigger one there. Let's do this. Probably something along those lines. Get rid of that. So we will be able to see her hands hanging down. And what will happen to the feet, instead of them coming towards us, this is the only thing that will change about the silhouette, is that the feet now are actually going to be moving away from us. Because she's facing the opposite direction, so they'll be going this way. But what we can use for our measurements is the fact that the heels, we're going to be pivoting on the heels, not pivoting your character around based on the toes. So the heels are the thing that should be touching this line, and that's what they're moving around on. So we see the heel is touching here, even in the profile view. So this will be going this way. We see her from behind. You know, I am thinking that we're not going to see her headband from behind. So there we have it. We got a 5-point head turn. So now that we have all of this figured out, this is gonna, and that it's gonna work correctly, I can go over and I could trace it out and do a nice cleanup version like this, and can paint it if you like. All right, hope that helps. Talk to you soon.